Hey guys, welcome back. This is it. I made it. I did it. Week 52, Project Life 2021. This is the last layout for my album. I'm starting with my photos, and I am using a little kit that I put together for myself over with my patrons. This is just a stash kit, like a really small kind of stash kit. I made a few of them this year just so that I could have a little base to start from, not like my mega kits. Sometimes I find those a little bit kind of overwhelming to use. This one just has maybe 1 or 2 weeks worth of Project Life like material in there. It's made from stash cards, 6x6 papers, a couple of alphas, and a few embellishments. That's it. It's just keeping things super simple for myself, and I absolutely love this kit this week. All based off that polka dot party 6x6 pad from dearlydee. So colors right up my alley, despite the fact that my photos were a little bit, they're not bright. They're not, over the top colourful. In fact, I've got a whole 4x6 there that's just black and white photos. So this is just going to allow me to finish this year off with a little bit of a pop of colour. Now, I did start by going through the cards because really that's what I'm trying to use up with these kind of stash kits. My huge stash of some very old. I think the oldest one I found that I at least knew that was dated might have been like 7 years old. I really do want to use up a few more of these cards, these sort of stash cards, so I'm trying to use mostly those, and then I did have one little spot that I couldn't really fill with a card, so I used one of the pattern papers from the 6x6 paper pad. Now this first card here, I knew I wanted to sort of have it. This is week 52 of 2021, but technically there's a few days of 2022 in there, so I wanted to kind of allude to that fact, and I used this card that says the beginning, but they sort of picked this card obviously after I had printed my photos. So the photo that I've printed was a little bit big. If I put the entire photo on that card, it would have covered up some of those little check boxes there, and I didn't want to do that. I thought the whole point of that card was to have the little check boxes in there. So I've just offset my photo to the left hand side and trimmed that little piece off. And because that looks a bit strange with all of the rest of the photos, I'm going to use that as kind of a theme throughout the spread. So the other little square photos, I'm going to repeat that same thing, and just, even though they fit on the cards, I'm going to offset them and trim them so that this particular 4x6 card looked like it was purposeful rather than a mistake. Now I created this photo grid in Photoshop. I'm going to keep it really simple. These were all photos from our holiday with Jack. It was too many photos. There were far too many photos to fit onto one Project Life spread, so I kind of created this little collage. I'm sure that I will be using those photos in a variety of other places, so I have no problem sort of condensing them all down into one photo there. So here's where I was talking about. I've just slipped that photo up just a little bit off the edge of the top of this 3x4 card and then trimmed it, and so it's going to look the same as that larger 4x6. This already has a sentiment on this card, but I just want to add to it, so I am carefully going through all of the mini citrus twist stamps. The stamp sets that I'm using today, I didn't actually include in my stash kit. I haven't included stamps in any of those little Project Life stash kits, just to make it a little bit more versatile, so that I know when I've got my photos, I know what I'm going to use. I can go back into my stamp stash and pick out appropriate stamp sets, rather than kind of being constrained to using ones that I had guessed and put into those kits. So I've just grabbed a couple of kind of general stamp sets, and then I knew that I had this coffee photo. They were very slow with the red cups here this year. I didn't actually get one in 2021. I got one in 2022. So I'm popping that into Project Life. I had gone like every week to get a coffee, hoping for a red cup for my December daily album. Didn't happen, so I've got one now in Project Life. So I did pick out this like coffee themed stamp set because I knew there was a coffee photo in there. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about when I'm going to choose stamp sets appropriately as the week requires it. Now I've got these little puffy hearts in here. I'm going to add a few of them. I did add one to that 4x6 card down the bottom, and I had a couple of spaces left in here because I condensed all of those photos down into that collage. It did mean I was a little bit short on photos for the rest of the spread, so it allowed me to add kind of a filler card, which I don't have that often, I don't think, as well as a journaling card. I've typed my journaling straight out on my typewriter. I did use pink ink to kind of go along with that pink and colourful kind of theme this week, but the other card I've just left pretty simple as is and just added a puffy sticker to it. Now I'm going to stamp directly onto my photo here. I've stamped the word chill. Lil was definitely not chill. We were having like quite a massive thunderstorm, which she does not enjoy. So I'm just going to slightly alter this little sentiment here using my favorite pink foam alphas. I'm just going to sort of overlap them so it looks like it's one kind of embellishment slash stamp rather than alphas and stamps. Just putting no chill because she had no chill. I don't really blame her, to be honest. I don't love a thunderstorm either. And I'm going to add another one of those puffy sticker hearts. Look at me using that chartreusey limey green color. Maybe it's growing on me, or maybe I'm just trying to expand my color palette a little bit. Now the last thing I have to do is work on my title card, and now that I've got everything else kind of laid out on this spread, I still really like this card. It's sort of a cloudy kind of sky looking pattern, but it is very blue in comparison to the rest of the colors that I've used in the spread. Everything else is a little bit more on the greener side of teals, and this one is very blue, so I want to make sure that I'm going to add some more kind of greeny teal into here, and I'm going to do that with some stamps. So really the only kind of embellishment that I'm adding in here is just a digital printable label. I picked pink, obviously, and I'm going to tuck that into the side because I'm going to use a couple of stamp sets here just to stamp out my entire title for this week. I'm using the Lunar numbers and the Sophie alphabet. They're both pretty new to me stamps from Citrus Twist. I'm going to use both of these stamp sets have like two different stamps. The Sophie alphas, they're not outlines, but one's a thinner version and a thicker version, so I decided I would be able to do a little drop shadow with my stamping, and the Lunar numbers have an outline and a filler, so I'm going to use both of those versions from both of those stamp sets to stamp out my title. I did just want to test first how this kind of actual drop shadow was going to work, and here you can see with the like more greeny tealy colored inks, I'm just working out the best way to do that. I've got a darker one, I've got a lighter one, and I decided that I would do a drop shadow rather than kind of stamping one on top of the other. I thought that I might try that first, but I like the drop shadow look of it, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp the word week once with my lighter ink. Well, it's my darker ink actually, sorry. And I'm just going to make sure that when I'm stamping those letters, they're a little bit further apart than what I normally would stamp, just because I know I'm going to add that second lot of stamps in to create the drop shadow, and that's going to fill up that kind of visual gap in between these letters. You'll see what I mean here now when I grab my lighter ink, and you really can stamp these either way. So you can start with your lightest ink first, or you can start with your darkest ink. It doesn't really matter. Just try it on a test bit of paper first and see how those colors interact with each other. I liked stamping the darker first and then doing the drop shadow in the lighter ink, but you can see it kind of fills in that visual gap just a little bit. And I am going to use some of that teal ink again. I'm going to do the outline in black for my numbers first, because I've got so many, like I've got the black and white photos, and I've got another photo in there that's quite black and sort of dark heavy. I'm going to use black to tie that into my title card as well. And then when I looked at it, the numbers they just sort of fade into the background a little bit too much. So that's when I decided that I would end up filling in the numbers as well. I mean, I've got that option with the stamp set, so why wouldn't I? I'm just going to use that same light teal ink. It's a Catherine Pooler ink. I can't remember the name of the color. I think it's meant to be I'm just going to fill these in. I should probably have prepped these stamps first. The stamping's a little bit splotchy because that's the first time I've used them, and I didn't use my sand eraser first, so mental note. Make sure I do what I like to do next time. But that's it. That is week 52 all done. That is my 2021 album all done. I'm excited to share it with you, so I will be doing a flip through as soon as I possibly can. Hey, thanks for watching today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you again really soon. Bye.